keep making videos, you guys are going to start to think I'm a regular damn YouTuber. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Long time no see. Like, I just put out 2 videos yesterday and now we're doing another one because yesterday while filming there was unfortunately a school shooting out in Madison, Wisconsin. And normally I wouldn't address things like this, but the president, without hesitation, jumped on the gun control bandwagon. Calling for more gun control, this, that, and the other thing. He said a few things, and I was just going to kind of bring that news to you. And in case you are new to the channel, which I'm sure most of you are, just because the way the algorithm works, and obviously the way I see it on the back end, the vast majority of you are not subscribing to the channel, or not subscribed to the channel, I should say. So do me a favor. It's free. It takes like 2 seconds. Just subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, put something in the comment section, help with the algorithm, get all of this to grow and blow it up. Think of it as just a simple Christmas present to me. Now, if you want to spend some of your shekels, well, down in the description below is obviously going to be a link to the merch store where we have all kinds of merch. I'm not going to break it all down for you, but sweatshirts, t-shirts, mugs, stickers, all of it's in there. You can always use locals. You can do Patreon. Become a member here on YouTube and get some behind-the-scenes things, more vlog-esque stuff coming up for the new year. So it might behoove you to be there. All right, enough me talking about that. Let's get into what our dear old president said. All right, so yesterday Joe Biden called for gun control. Of course he did, because what's the motto? Never let a good crisis go to waste. So they're not going to let it go to waste. Listen. Ain't nobody going to do gun control, all right? There's a mandate in place right now from the American voter giving control for the Congress coming up, because they're all going on Christmas break anyways. Congress coming up, it's all Republican control, and of course we know Trump's taking over, so he's just running his mouth. Now you got to worry about those rhinos that might flip just to get something done. I don't know, but let's go into what he said. So on Monday, we know that a 15-year-old female freshman decided to go into the school and kill a student, a teacher, and wound several other students, and then took her own life. Not getting into how I feel about any of that. I don't want to talk about any of that and really demonetize this video or screw anything up. But Biden said today families in Madison, Wisconsin are grieving at the loss of those who were killed and wounded at the Abundant Life Christian Church. It's shocking and unconscionable. Correct, it is. It's shocking and unconscionable. We need Congress to act now. No, we don't. Stop, for the love of Pete. Stop acting on emotions. Let the investigation go through, figure out what the motives were, and gun control is not going to do anything except hurt the law-abiding citizen. Because it's this simple. In New York on December 4th, some crazed lunatic guns down the CEO of United Healthcare. And the left cheers. I mean, if you look at some of the weird crap that's out there, they're putting this dude's face on those little religious candles. They're donating money to his defense fund. You've got people that are, towing the line like, we should be doing this, all CEOs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, which violence is never the answer. The left is okay with this, but as soon as it happens and it fits that narrative or gun control, now we have to go after it. So a bunch of stuff said. I have one article here from Newsweek. It breaks it all down. There was a lot there. It's the usual blah, 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 blah. They're talking about one of the duties of the new office to tackle the creation of 3D printed guns. The Biden administration also established an emerging firearms threat task force, which I'm sure Trump is going to destroy that. It's creating a report assessing the threat level posed by 3D guns. Listen, It's not illegal to buy a 3D printer. The cat's out of the bag. You are never going to put it back in the bag. It's just something you're going to have to live with. Thankfully, most of these 3D printed guns are absolute crap, and they don't function, and they're more apt to just explode in your hand. The White House fact sheet, the ATF recovered more than 5,400 3D printed guns from 2017 to 2021. Look, it's out there, okay? It's out there. Now they're going to try and scare you, this and that and the other thing. I mean, they even talk about from Newtown to Uvalde, Parkland, Madison. Okay, tugging at the heartstrings of people over Newtown, which is an absolute tragedy, which really sent Connecticut and our gun laws down just a spiral downhill. Here's the gist of it, okay? Biden came out and said that Congress needs to act now, which I said. Every child deserves to feel safe in their classroom. True, they do. Students across our country should be learning how to read and write and not having to learn how to duck and cover. I, too, agree. Yet you're not willing to spend the money to harden our schools, to hire school resource officers. Why? Why? Put the cops in the schools. Do common sense stuff like that. Cameras. Cops. No. We're going to go after you and the things you like. All right, here's the big thing. He called for Congress to pass common sense gun laws, such as a universal background check. You cannot enforce a universal background check without a gun registry. Here in Connecticut, we are forced and compelled to use FFLs to transfer firearms because we have the DPS-3, which means when you purchase that gun, the DPS-3 is basically the title to that gun, okay? You get a copy, FFL keeps a copy, local PD gets a copy for the town that you live in, and the state police get a copy. It's all done electronically now. Years ago, it was all snail mail, handwritten, etc. Now it's all electronic. If you want to sell that gun, and you know exactly who you're going to sell it to, you know they're a valid permit holder, they're not a prohibited person, so on and so forth, we used to be able to sell it. And then ATF shut that down because when you call SLFU for that transfer number to get that gun out of your name, they were hitting the NICS system, and the ATF says, hey, you cannot hit the NICS system as a private citizen. Connecticut is currently the only state where this is actually in effect. Wow, makes you feel special. It really sucks if they implemented something like that, because if you live out in the boonies of Appalachia, up in the mountains, and your neighbor down the road has been having problems with yotes or what have you, mountain lions, things like that, and you've got like 4 or 5, say, shotguns, and you know your neighbor's a good standing citizen, right? Because it is against the law to transfer a firearm to a known prohibited person. You know that they're good, they're not a felon, things like that. There's nothing wrong with going down there and selling your gun to them, or just giving it to them, right? If you know they're not a prohibited person. That's it. Because in a normal state, you fill out your 4473, which stays at the FFL. That's it. That you're done. But because we have the DPS-3, along with the DPS-67, but the DPS-3 is what we're worried about. That gun is in your name in a computer database. So if that gun ever showed up at a crime scene, it's in your name. They're coming straight to your house. And you can be like, well, I sold it to so-and-so. Prove it. Prove that you did, because according to our database, that gun is in your name. So the only way to get universal background checks enforceable is to create a federal database, much like what Connecticut has now. Connecticut will lie to you and tell you we don't have a gun registry. BS. You go back to the video where I had to register my assault weapons, and you'll see the back end of that portal to where there's a gun registry, because you can see pretty much all the guns that I own. They want to ban on assault weapons. Define that. What is an assault weapon? They can't, because it's a made-up term. They just want to ban AR-15s because they're scary, because they're black. No, it's unconstitutional. Stop. Stop it with that stuff. as far as I know, they haven't come out and said what kind of gun she used. But yeah, we got to ban the assault weapon. It's funny how you could take, a very assaulty looking rifle and be like, oh, that's scary, we need to ban it. But you take all the cosmetic crap off of it and you shove it into a wooden chassis, and all of a sudden, miraculously, well, that's okay. That's benign. That's not scary anymore, and those are legal. Everyone forgets an AR-15 shoots a 22. Granted, it's wicked as fast, but it's still only a 22. M1 Garands. Oh, it's in one stock. Oh, those are good. That's a big-ass round. It's a 308. Well, nope. Those are okay. But those were literally weapons of war. That was used by the Army and by all the branches during the wars. Those are okay. But the AR-15, which is strictly civilian use, no, those are too scary. We got to make them go away. And of course, high-capacity magazines. So those three things. Now, a high-capacity magazine, what the hell is high capacity? Well, they deem anything over 10 rounds high capacity, even though the Glock 17, coming from the manufacturer, is designed to hold 17 rounds in its magazine because its standard capacity is 17 rounds. That is what it was designed for. The AR-15 is designed to hold a 30-round magazine. Why 30 rounds? Because if you do a 10-round magazine, those magazines are small and get lost in pouches. The 30-round magazine, or even the 20-round magazine, which is smaller, is ideal to hold in your hand and feed into the mag well to manipulate it. That's it. They want to limit you to 10. Hell, New York, I think, wants to limit you to 8. It makes no sense because this is what I teach in class. I break my class in half, and I'm like, okay, we passed a magazine ban in Connecticut after Sandy Hook. You guys over here on this side, you guys right there, you're my law-abiding citizens. You cannot buy a magazine that holds more than 10 rounds. And you guys over here, you're my criminal element. You're out on the streets doing hood rat stuff. Do you care about that law? Does that law actually affect you? No, because while you show up to do crime, you're going to have full capacity, and the law-abiding citizen is just trying to go about their daily lives, and now they're having to defend themselves or going to be behind the power curve because while your gun can hold 17 rounds, their firearm is limited to 10. Now, when the criminal is caught with these high-capacity, standard capacity magazines, very rarely are they actually prosecuted to the full extent of the law. They're pled down, these charges go away, versus you. If you are caught with a standard capacity magazine in the state of Connecticut, you know damn well they're going to make an example out of you. They are going to rake you through the coals. This is not gun control. This is control. They want the monopoly on violence, and they don't want you to have the ability to fight back. That's just the way it is, guys. Oh, he also wants a national red flag law, like the one we have here in Connecticut. Now, when I teach the red flag law, I explain how it works. I explain how it's abused, and it only took people about 30 seconds to figure out how to abuse the entire system. And they all get really quiet. And they're like, then what's the point of buying a gun if anybody can do this to you? And I'm like, that's kind of the point. All right. So he goes on to say that the law would allow police or family members to get a court order to temporarily confiscate firearms from a person who may present a danger to others or themselves. Now, there's plenty of videos where I break down how Connecticut red flags law work. But imagine you're at Thanksgiving dinner and you're having a heated discussion with a family member who doesn't see eye to eye with you politically, and they know that you like guns. So they decide that they are going to red flag you because all they have to do is sign an affidavit saying, hey, you're a danger to yourself or others. And they're going to ruin your life for months to come because the police are not going to be like, knock, knock, knock. Hey, we're here to confiscate your guns. That's not what they do. About 6 a.m., they're going to do a no-knock raid, and they're just going to bust your door down, come in, drag you out in handcuffs. They're going to search your home left and right, and they're going to steal all your guns from you and ammunition, and they're going to revoke your permit. Months down the road, you'll get your day in court to prove your innocence, to prove that you're not a danger to yourself or others. In the meantime, the media is going to rake you through the coals. Your neighbors are going to think that you are some sort of terrorist. You're going to spend a small fortune in lawyers. Maybe you get your day in court. Maybe it all gets cleared up. At what expense? How much money do you have to expend to get your rights back? Then when the courts say, hey, you know what? This was false. This was a lie. We're sorry. Here's your stuff back. What are the consequences for that family member? Or in the state of Connecticut, where it can be just a concerned community member, a healthcare worker, clergy, family members, things like that. What are the consequences for them lying? Oh, you're right. Nothing. Because we don't want to disenfranchise or dishearten people from actually coming forward and diming their people out. Friends, family, or, see something, say something. No. Red flag laws are not good. They're not kosher. Not the way they're being implemented. Now, according to Biden and the Democrats, the vast majority of Americans want this. And I'm telling you right now, the vast majority of Americans do not want this because they just put the Republicans in charge of everything and put Donald Trump back into office. If the vast majority of people wanted this, that wouldn't have happened. They would have put Harris in there, but they didn't. There was a massive backlash. There you go. How about we enforce the laws that we already have? How about we act accordingly? I mean, hell, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but just last week in Cheshire, there's this big police investigation. Started Friday, and it's gone on today. So a couple of students are in the bathroom, and they noticed that another student looks like they have a gun. So the other students go and tell a staff member. And what does that staff member do? Nothing. They don't report it. They don't say a damn thing. Well, it finally got out, and turns out that what the other students thought was a gun was actually just a stupid phone case that looked like a gun. It could be mistaken as a gun, which I've already expressed that those phone cases are stupid and you shouldn't buy them. That being said, that is my personal opinion. You do you, boo-boo. I don't care. The police investigate this whole thing. It should never have come to this because that staff member should have done their damn job right away. But they failed to do their job. So what happens if that was a real firearm and some other tragedy happened here at Cheshire High? It'd be on that staff member. A student brings to the attention, hey, we think this child or this other person may have a gun. Okay, there are procedures in place that we've had since Sandy Hook that are supposed to automatically happen. And yet this staff member decided not to do a damn thing or say anything. Now, the Board of Ed has reassured the people of Cheshire that, well, they're going to address this and make sure that person is trained in accordance with SOPs and blah, 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 blah. I have no faith in it. Zero faith. Absolutely none. And I don't know how many of you heard about it. I mean, I was reading it this morning in local news. I think it was on the Connecticut Patch or Meriden Patch, whatever it is. Yeah. Kids saw something, so they said something, and the staff member just didn't care. Right? Kind of like Uvalde, when everything was going down, the cops just hung out outside because they were too scared to go in. The one cop that actually had a child in that school was going in one way or another. He was fighting his way in, and the other police held him back and said, no, we are not going in. And it took a bunch of off-duty border patrol guys to show up, circumvent the police perimeter area, sneak in the school the other way to remove the threat. There's something wrong with our society. It is not going in the right direction. And I don't know what's to blame. Social media, the internet, public education. I have no idea. But there's something wrong. I can't put my finger on it. I'm hoping come January 20th things will start to turn around for us. But right now, it's looking bleak, guys, especially like the drones and all this stuff, and the government's just lying to you. The American people have zero faith in our government, and I don't blame them. All right, that's enough ranting for you guys. Of course, Joe Biden's calling for more gun control, and you know what? This next legislative session here in Connecticut, they want more gun control. It's never ending. So do me a favor. Stop voting for these morons. Gah! Stop voting for morons like this. All right? I don't care how much free crap they promise you. Stop voting for these people. I know what you're going to say. Todd, I'm not voting for these people. Yeah, well, you need to talk to your family, talk to your friends, and convince them to stop voting for things that don't help, things that are bad for us, things that hurt us in the long run. Short-term gains do not fix the long-term problems. Yes, something scary and bad happens today, so let's have a knee-jerk reaction emotionally and not think things through logically. That's the problem. Everyone runs on emotions versus logic. Pisses me off. All right. I said that's enough ranting. I will see all of you in the next video. If you've been hanging out this long, I appreciate it. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, share it with all your friends, put something in the comment section, and I'll see all of you in the next video.